Yeah, you have one?
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul was in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. I didn't know just what was wrong with me till your kiss helped me name it. I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for. And if I make you happy, I don't need to do more. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Oh, baby, what you done to me, what you done to me. You make me feel
So we're going to go in this order. You don't have to start, okay? You don't have to stop. In a second.
Just wanna be close to you. You make me feel so alive. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. You make me feel, you you're a woman. Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd call him home. When they gathered around and started talking, Cousin Billy would take me walking up through the backyard to go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I tried. When he started sweet talking to me, he come and told me everything is alright. Because he tell me everything's alright. Then I get away again tonight. The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. And I was. Yes, he was. How will I remember living life, stealing kisses from me on the side, taking time to make time, telling me that he's all mine, learning from each other's knowing, looking to see how much we've grown, and the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. He was the sweet talking son of a preacher man. You say the son of a preacher man. Son of a preacher man.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Don Gately. I'm the very proud principal at Jericho Middle School. I want to welcome you to the middle school. My son is in 8th grade, and he knew that my daughter was homesick today, so he knew that I was home. So he started calling with his soft program at 10 o'clock. Then you have to come pick me up. I think it's serious. So I'm a good middle school parent, so he didn't finally get me to come until 2 o'clock. And when I went there, they know that I'm in the business at his middle school. It's like, oh, Don, how's it going? How's everything? I said, great. You know, I'm homesick with Juliet today, but I'm going back to school tonight because we have our incoming program for incoming 6th graders. When the secretary said, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening tonight. And I said, it's so early for us now to have you start to think about going to middle school. I think that's why the elementary principals would like us to discourage you from bringing elementary school kids with you, because they're all going to go back and say, it's over. We're at middle school now, we heard Dr. Gately speak, we heard all the other people speak, we're pretty much done, we're ready to go to middle school. How many of you are middle school parents for the first time? Can you raise your hands? Yeah. I joked with, wow, that's a lot, that's great, that's awesome. I joked with someone coming in, are you a first time middle school parent? He said, yeah. I said, I can tell because your hand was cold. Because you like park like all the way on the other side of the parking lot, and you spend 15 minutes in the wrestling match before you realize that this is the little theater. So we're really welcome. We're so happy to have you. You are ready for the most exciting time, the second most exciting time in your child's life, okay? The only time in their life that they will change more than now between the ages of 10 and 15 were the ages of 0 to 4. Okay, this is scientifically proven. They'll change more physically, emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually than at any other time in their life. And that's what we're here for. And that's why everyone up here who's going to speak tonight is going to talk about their own passion for what we do and how excited we are to work with middle school kids. I just want to introduce the folks who you'll get an opportunity to hear from. Our assistant principal, Joe Wiener, is here with us. One of our student team advisors, Susan Aubrey, will speak with us. Our curriculum associate for special education and people personnel services, Dr. Joe Sapienza, is here. And next year you'll have a guidance counselor. You're very, very lucky that you'll have Kerry Schmidt as your guidance counselor to sort of check your child through the middle school experience. And our curriculum associate for world languages is here, Dr. Elaine Margarita. And she'll speak to you about the important ideas about your son or daughter choosing a second language, okay? I also have two very, very important people with us to talk about the PTSA. One of the things that happens at times, I think parents think, well, you know, my kid made it through elementary school, now they don't need it anymore. Your child needs you more now than they did at any other time in your life to stay involved and stay on top of them and talk to them about what the middle school experience looks like. We're so fortunate that we have fantastic PTSA leadership. And I'm throwing the S in because at the middle school level and the high school level, the S is for students. We have a Parents-Teachers Student Association. And we have with us your president and vice president, Christine Casper and Allison Edelman, who are just going to speak to you briefly about PTSA and opportunities for getting involved. And we just have a great this year.
This will go pretty far, further than I thought. It's up to you. You could try without.
Hi, my name is Christine Casper, President of PTSA, and this is Allison. Hi. President of PTSA Middle School. Basically, we just wanted to say hello and welcome everyone, and let you know that we are always here. When your little one's going to 6th grade, we'll be here to answer any questions. We've actually got 5 children between the both of us that have experienced the transition into middle school. So we have tremendous experience on what it's like to be that new parent, having a child enter 6th grade. Dr. Gately and Mr. Wiener, along with the teachers, make this transition seamless and most importantly, really fun. According to my 6th grader, the 3 most exciting things about moving up included having much more freedom and responsibility, seeing all of your friends from all 3 elementary schools, and the excitement of getting your own locker, not having your own space. For some students and parents, moving up can be very exciting, but it can also be a little stressful. Just having that fear of the unknown and not knowing what to expect, and especially that first day, because kids are always thinking about where am I going to sit, am I going to remember, you know, what classroom to go to, can I open my locker? So I just want to promise you that any issue or question that you or your child might have will definitely be addressed and answered very quickly. Because the teachers here are amazing, and they're always like thinking ahead. So you can always assure your child that if they need any help, they need to be an advocate for themselves and go to their teacher, and the teachers and administrators will be right on top of it. Basically, the teachers and staff do their best to make school fun, which for middle school is probably most important for kids. There's always something great happening here, and you'll see all these things monthly through Dr. Gately's blog post. And okay, great. So you'll know exactly what's going on. In addition to Dr. Gately and Mr. Wiener, the teachers and the staff and all the guidance counselors, we from the PTSA are here to help you with any questions, and you can always contact us. You can find our names and our phone numbers on the website, and we're always here to help. We just want you to know that. So, yes. Oh, there's
What, you-
not that.
The list of volunteers?
Yeah.
Yeah, opportunities, right.
So, the middle school is a little different in terms of the opportunities to be on the committee and to get involved. There are about 10 committees, and as the year progresses, we might add some more opportunities and more committees to have the parents sign up. But right now we have about 10. And
I'm sorry, Kristen, I'm trying to get it up there. I'll manage.
yeah, so we have, there's about 10. There's Compact for Learning, there's a faculty recognition luncheon,
There it is.
the Safe and Drug-Free School, the Sports Advisory, Media Public Relations Book Fair, Reflections, Art Contest, Spirit Wear, there's Parent Lunch Learn, and Family Book Talk. So we're constantly working on this, and at the end of, probably by May or June, we plan to email this out to all the parents. So you get the descriptions and you can kind of decide which one if you'd like to sign up. There's also going to be some additional opportunities to come into the school in 6th grade. We actually had, for the first time, we had open houses this year for all the 6th grade parents. And it was something that was new, and it was great for me because it was my 3rd, 6th grader. And I had never done that before, and it was nice to see them in action. Visit the classroom with the teachers and see your kids in action. It's a great thing. There's also the book fair, and there's also the LDS Day, where you'll be invited to walk with your kids. And I actually think that's a great opportunity for all the new students, because they're all together in a relaxed, fun environment, and it's early in the school year. It's a good, also a good chance to see different faces, different schools you might not have known or met before. So we're excited, and I hope you guys are excited, and it'll be great.
Thanks, Allison.
Thanks, Liz. I meet regularly with Allison and Christine about twice a month. We meet regularly. I call them all the time. So they're really the best conduit to get us information or questions you're not sure the answers to. We heard something that was going on in school I'm not really sure about. You call Christine and Allison, and they'll always know, because I will have spoken to them about all the things that are going on. They're really great sort of pipeline. Just a couple of practical matters. We gave to you an agenda for this evening, okay? It has a little QR code there. That's the flyer that has all the information that we'll be talking about tonight. So this is the only piece of paper that you need. By the way, we're live streaming this, not you, but we're live on here. So I tweeted out the link. So if you have any friends who didn't make it tonight, okay, they can go to the link that I tweeted out, and they'll get a chance to see the whole presentation in the flesh. Okay, some other things that are on this flyer. So the flyer looks like this. Okay, so this is the grade 6 parent orientation. All right, it has a link to the middle school website, and this is the link that Christine and Allison just spoke about as far as opportunities to get involved in PTSA. Now, you'll probably send like a Google form at some point where people will be able to respond and click off a checkbox saying what they'd particularly like to get involved in. And as Christine said, that 6th grade open house was a really neat opportunity that we started this year, and I certainly will do it again next year for parents that can really see their kids in action with their teachers in class, and back to school night, things like that. So there's opportunities to get involved. Also, I hope you'll follow the middle school on Twitter. We have our own Twitter page, okay? It's Jericho Middle School. And if you were following us on the middle school Twitter page, you would have seen that link right now. So if you were home, if you're a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade parent and you're already following us, you would have clicked on that link, and you see us in action here, live sort of feeding our presentation, okay? I also keep a blog in which I communicate with parents called, and the community, and everybody called In the Middle of Learning. So you see I write about different topics of interest to educators and students and parents. Also, there is a link to questions. Now, you will have questions. We'll have an opportunity tonight to answer lots and lots of questions. But some of the best questions will occur to you on the car ride home tonight. You might be wondering, how do I get that question answered? But your question might benefit a lot of other people. So I would ask, go to this flyer and just click on that link and put your question right on here, and then one of us will just take the response and write it right on that Google form. Of course, we're available via email or phone call, and we'll be happy to talk to that. Any lingering questions that you have. There's also a link to our parent information manual, the club calendar, so you can get an idea of some of the clubs that we have here. This page has lots of useful links for parents It's sort of like an A to Z of parent information, the supply list, the attendance procedures. We have a website. There's lots and lots of information on that website, but we try for the purposes of this evening, for what you're going to absorb, just give you the things that I think that you'll find particularly interesting and useful. We have a whole link to a page about middle school grading and how grades are handled at the middle school, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that when it's my opportunity. We have a link to class listings, and here's Joe. I'll open this for you, because you're going to talk a little bit about the scheduling component. So why don't I open that link for you so it's already open when you're ready to go. And Joe's going to talk to you about how the schedule's put together in classes. So there's lots of ways you can get to this. There's that QR code. The URL is on it if you want to sit and type it in. And it's also right on the middle school website. So when you go to the middle school website, just find it's the first thing right on this is welcome to incoming sixth grade parents, and those are the resources that are available. So we just want to share with you some information we think might be helpful. But our main aim is tonight is not that you go home and have the ability to pass a quiz about what happens in the middle school. That would be the last thing we hope would happen. We want you to go home and tell your kids, wow, you live in a lot of there. They are the nicest people. They love what they do, and that place is so much fun, and they must have said, don't worry about it 15 times, because really, we don't want you to worry about anything. We only want you to be excited about coming to middle school. I'm going to ask Joe to talk a little bit about his role as assistant principal and some ins and outs about the schedule and classes and things that kids will take. So this is my good friend, Joe Wien.
Thank you. Don always jokes, I do the morning announcements to get the day started every day. And Don always jokes, I don't need a PA system. That if I just stood outside my office and spoke in this voice, the whole world could hear me. So I hope you don't mind that I'm not using a microphone. You can hear me in the back? Yes.
Joe, they can hear you at the back of the auditorium and see me.
They probably can. So first of all, welcome. I just want to reiterate to Dr. Gately, I'm so excited that you first came out tonight to learn more about Jericho Middle School and what goes on here and all of the things that we have to offer. And I second Don's sentiment that the main message I hope you take away from here is we love your kids. We haven't met them yet, but we love them already. We can't wait until they come, and we are so well prepared for their arrival that you have nothing to worry about when you put them on the bus in August or September. When do we start? So sometime in that neighborhood. So Don said that it's January already. We can't believe that things are already getting started. And in fact, I started preparing for next year in October. After the first 4 to 6 weeks of craziness of the opening of school and getting everything settled down, my first task is to develop staffing projections, budget projections for next week. So that really starts like 6 weeks into the new year. So I've been into it already for a couple of months. And again, it takes about that much time to put it all together and to make sure that when your child arrives here, the first day of school in September, everything is ready to go. So that's how it works. The format of the evening, we have some sort of frequently asked questions that I'm sure you're all sitting and wondering about. So I'm going to sort of answer those, and anything along the lines of the topics that I'm discussing comes to you as you're sitting here. Please either interrupt me or raise your hand. I'm happy to take questions related to this. So first is, my child's really nervous. I'm sure you're thinking, my child's really nervous. He just wants his 19 best friends in class with him first period, and everything's going to be fine. And I can tell you unequivocally right now that is not working. I apologize, it just isn't. And there are so many good reasons for that. First of all, I don't know who they're friends. Yes, we meet with elementary school teachers, every fifth grade teacher, the principal, support staff. We learn about each child, their academic needs and their social needs. One of the questions that we do not ask is, who are their 19 best friends? However, I will guarantee that when your child walks into the first period, which is a core period, they're with the class, with the teacher and the kids they'll be with for the academic periods during the day, that they will see one familiar face from their elementary school class, fifth grade class. So one person might not be their best friend, but it will be someone who's in the class with them the year before. So at the very least, they can say, oh, I know Susan. And I see one person. And second, that to the best of our ability, we will balance the number of kids from each elementary school and each elementary class in every sixth grade. Again, Siemens is a little smaller than Kenyon, so it's not possible to get the exact same number of kids from all three schools, but to the best of our ability, there will not be 3 Jackson classes and then 2 random Jackson kids in another class. That's just not going to happen, all right? So we will do our best to balance it by elementary class, by school, by gender. If you have a little girl in 5th grade, I promise you she will not be in a class with 23 boys. It's not going to happen. There will be other girls. All right, so as far as the friend thing goes, I told you, 1, I don't know who your kids' friends are. 2nd, it's not fair or equitable for me to sort of make side deals with a number of people that, yes, I'll make sure that the 1 or 2 people you're asking for are in the class next year, and not do that for everybody. And on a practical level, it's just not possible. It is just not possible to get to every request and make it all happen. So we balance for the criteria that I described, and also remember, kids have lunch together. They have classes other than the academic periods. They have physical education. They have art. They have family and consumer science, what you might know as home ec or home careers. They might have an elective. They have music classes. They have language classes. So every 40 minutes, they're getting up and going to a class with potentially a totally different group of kids. So they're definitely going to see friends in the hallways. They're definitely going to see friends in their encore elective classes in lunch and in lunch. And they'll see their friends before school, after school, in clubs, in extra help, in intramurals that are all open to everyone. So there will be ample opportunities for them to socialize. And middle school is a time of great transitions, socially as well as academically and intellectually and physically. So the kids your child is friends with today might not be the same group as they're friends with in September or November or January, February as the year goes on. Friendships tend to change. Kids branch out. They make new friends from other schools, new friends with kids coming into the district for the first time. And 6th grade is such a wonderful opportunity to do that. And we structure 6th grade to scaffold that for kids, to make sure that they have those opportunities. So they're going to be fun. I promise. They're going to be fun. Any questions about how we put together the 6th grade classroom? No?
Excuse me, how
Yes.
many classes are there?
We
10.
anticipate, in the past few years, this year there are 10. In the past there have been 9. When I started here there were 12. It really depends on enrollment. And that changes because new kids are coming into the district in 5th grade. We get an influx of kids coming in over the summer registering for September. So right now we're planning for 9. It might go up to 10 depending on.
How many for students?
Again, that depends. 24, 25, 26, depending on.
23?
23, 21. Again, depending on how many sections and how many kids. Yeah. What classes will your child take? I sort of enumerated them before, but that list is, where is that? The list of,
You gotta close the PowerPoint and then go to the Chrome.
go to Chrome. Here we go. Post your questions, important information. Middle school schedule. Here we go.
I think
And
you have to close the PowerPoint. I didn't realize that.
excellent. Can you see it now?
I think you have to exit it.
Exit it.
I can't figure it out.
Okay. Excellent. So there are the classes your 6th grader will take next year. ELA, math, science, social studies, all fairly straightforward. We do have, and Ms. Aubrey will speak more about this, but the way we arrange classes, they have double period blocks in the morning and the afternoon. One ELA social studies or a humanities block, and one math science block. So teachers have the flexibility to either do interdisciplinary lessons. They might decide to incorporate math skills into a science lab, but that science lab will run greater than the 40-minute period. It might go 50 minutes, 60 minutes, or 80 minutes. but the math is sort of infused within that. Or if, I don't know, they're doing some sort of social studies project, teacher might choose to take the double period humanities block, do social studies on Monday, and then compensate by doing the double English block the next. So the teachers have that flexibility, and it could change day to day. There is an interdisciplinary period. Ms. Aubrey will speak more about that, but it essentially allows for a variety of activities, anything from academic activities, social emotional activities, team building activities, things like that. All kids in 6th grade will take physical education. Usually physical education is every day. Different from, actually that's unique to all the grades, that the 6th grade is the only grade that has physical education every day. Because it's so important for kids to get out and run around a little every day and to have that opportunity to get that release. If your kids receive services, that might be in place of physical education on one of the 2 days in the cycle, but they'll guarantee have physical education at least every other day. All kids will have lunch, and all 6th graders eat together with only other 6th graders. Each grade in middle school has a dedicated lunch period. All 6th graders eat together. All 7th graders, all 8th graders. We do have 2 cafeterias, but the kids have flexibility in going from one place to the next. So again, if they're assigned to cafeteria A, but their 19 best friends are at cafeteria B, no problem, stand up, bring your tray, go to cafeteria B, and have a great time at lunch. Art and family and consumer sciences, those are alternate day classes, and they also alternate in the semester. So it's every other day for a semester of art, and then somewhere at the end of January, beginning of February, that period, the kids will go to family and consumer science, the COMET. They'll also take a world language class, and Dr. Margarita will talk more about that. And finally, music, band, orchestra, chorus, or exploratory music. Exploratory music is kind of a classroom-based course. The other 3 are performance-based courses. We have 2 concerts for each group each year, and I really think that, and perhaps this is my personal bias, but music was my thing in high school and in middle school. I was in the band, I was in the orchestra, I was in the chorus, I was in the chamber orchestra, I was in a quartet, I played with 2 college orchestras, I played with a private orchestra outside of school. So music was my thing. But music wasn't Dr. Gately's thing, and he'll agree with me. I know he's nodding behind you right now. We absolutely encourage your children, if they had any experience and any passion or even a little interest in their instrument or in the chorus, they should continue that in middle school. Absolutely. It is amazing to go to a 5th grade concert and hear the music that any of the groups is performing, and then hear the development into 6th grade and the music that the 6th graders play. It's amazing how much they learn in such a short amount of time. It is a great endeavor, even if they're not going to be the next Yo-Yo Ma or Whitmore South. That's fine. Just the experience of practicing, being part of an ensemble, and then getting up on a stage in front of hundreds of parents and performing twice a year is an absolutely invaluable experience. So I highly recommend it. We do have the exploratory music classroom-based class. If kids, for whatever reason, just absolutely don't want to do it. But please encourage them to continue that performance. Are there any questions about classes, what they take, what the day looks like, how it all works?
Joe, we got a lot of questions about acceleration. So,
I'm sorry?
we got some questions in advance about this whole acceleration matter.
Acceleration starts in 7th grade, so don't worry about it in 6th grade. That's an easy one. I saw a hand up. Yes.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm sorry? It depends on the number of sections we'll have and the number of kids. Anywhere between 22, 23, up to 26, 27.
What time is it?
Yes.
What does the day start?
The day starts late for us compared to starting in the middle of the night. It starts at 7:31. That's when teachers are in the room, class begins, announcements are over, pledges over, and we hit the ground running at 7:31. We tell kids get here at 7:15, and also the best way to guarantee that kids are always on time is to get on the bus every morning. If the bus comes at 9:30 for some odd reason, kids are still on time to school because that was our fault.
People are leaving to find private schools.
Yeah, right?
They're losing half the crowd.
Okay, the buses show up, it depends on the neighborhood, it depends on the route. The question was, what time do the buses show up? I almost don't want to answer it because it's ungodly. But some, for the first bus stop,
The waiting for your children now.
that's right. Saturday morning, right. Like 6:55, it could be, depending on how far you are from school and how long the run is, it could be 5 to 7. Usually they're around 7 o'clock. Could be a little bit later, but all the buses get here by 7:10, 7:15, 7:20 on a bad traffic day. Kids have plenty of time to go to their lockers, put away their belongings, get downstairs or get upstairs, take a drink of water, have a little snack if they need it, talk to their friends, and get it. Yes. Great question. What time does the day end? The official day ends at 2:03. However, we have 2 after-school periods as well. The first after-school period goes until around 2:45. Second after-school period goes until 3:30. And at that 3:30 dismissal, there's a second bus for middle school kids. It's a combined middle school late route and high school regular route. I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, there's no way my child is ever getting on that 3:30 bus with the juniors and the seniors because that's just a terrible thing. The truth of the matter is, it's fine. And I know we say it's fine a lot, but I can back that up with evidence. I had, in the last year, I had 2 issues of kids being bullied on that bus on the 3:30 bus. And in both of those instances, it was a high school student coming to me and saying, this middle school kid is bullying me. You're laughing, but it's true. Okay? High school kids, this is one of the reasons why I love Jericho. There's such a sense of community. High school kids understand it as their responsibility to, at worst, just leave middle school kids alone. And at best, to make sure that they're safe, that they're happy, and that everything is going smoothly. And almost universally, the high school kids rise to that responsibility. The middle school kids are fine on that 3:30 bus. I assure you, they're safe, they'll get home easily, they'll get home quickly, and the after-school offerings that we have, which someone else will talk about, are wonderful, and kids should always stay for as many extra helps, clubs, and intramurals as they could possibly fit into their schedule. There was another question? Perhaps that's okay. No?
You're sticking around, right?
No, I'm going home. Okay. So now I'd like to introduce Carrie Schmidt. She'll be your child's guidance counselor for the duration of their middle school experience. Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome.
I didn't think I was going to have to speak. I thought you had time at all. Thank
Sorry.
you.
No, I never think that.
Anyway, thank you so much. I was so happy I was able to greet everybody coming in this evening because I wasn't sure I was able to get to everybody, but I am going to be your son or daughter's guidance counselor. And I cannot believe I put up all of these pictures, by the way, today. The reason why, I just want you to know, this morning, the only picture I had up was the one of me and my boys. And Ms. Aubrey over here, okay, Dr. Gately asked us to put pictures up of ourselves so that you could learn a little bit about us. And Ms. Aubrey had all of these pictures of her as a young girl, so I said, you know what, I'm going to find pictures of me as a young girl. And interestingly, I do know I was an awkward-looking child. I was like Pippi Longstocking. I realized that.
They're too young to know that.
That's right. So what was interesting, though, is that when I had to put up the one picture of me with the really red hair, that was like pre-tweens, that was probably 4th, 5th grade, it actually was hard for me to put that picture up because here we are, you know, getting ready to talk about middle schools, and that picture was 5th grade. I remember getting that picture back and 2 girls saying, oh my God, look how red her hair is. And I remembered my heart sinking because that really, you know, is a big part of the world of middle school. You know, we all want to fit in, we all want to be accepted, we all want to be like everybody else, we don't want to stand out, we don't want to be different. And I've always had a passion for working with kids during those middle school years. So, you know, just to begin, I've been here for 23 years. I have 2 boys. I have a 23-year-old son I have a 16-year-old son. My son in that picture is a lot younger there. But, so when I work here, I wear two hats. I'm a guidance counselor, but a lot of times I'm a mom too. And my role here is, you know, of course, to monitor the academic progress of all of my kids, you know, and how I do that, of course, is I review progress reports and report cards, and I, you know, meet with teachers, and I meet with your children, and, you know, we have this great built-in system where we talk to parents, and we call you, and we have parent meetings, but we also are very, very involved in their social and emotional development. And anybody who's worked with me in the past knows that we are very involved in that part of you know, in working with your children. What we want is to make that connection with them. I meet with the kids individually. As a counselor, we do a lot of group work. My goal is to make that connection. So if something does come up, whether it's an academic issue, a social issue, they'll have that person to talk to. And our goal is to help them to make good decisions, to help them to use their judgment. We have great programs here. Some of you who have older children probably heard about the Alveus program, our anti-bullying program. We do a lot of work on career exploration with children. So we do a lot of work with the kids. But very quickly, because we have other people that need to speak, I did talk to a few sixth graders today who are 3-4 months into the middle school, and I said, I just want you to know, I randomly picked some kids. I said, I'm going to be meeting with some incoming 5th grade parents. Do you have any advice for them, either on what you can tell their children about, you know, their transition to the middle school? Any advice for the kids or any advice for the parents? Anything you can tell them? And, you know, and they said things to me that I've heard before. I've been doing this a very long time. And then they said things to me that I thought were really interesting. They said the most difficult part for the parents, not for the kids, is going to be the early wake up. They said it's going to take you a year or two to adjust to the yelling and screaming. Yes. They said for mom and dad, waking them up early and getting used to getting them up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning is going to take some time. They were teasing. But they said get us to bed by 9:30 the latest. Wow. They said, take technology away when we go to our rooms. Wow. They said,
They gave away all the tricks.
Yeah, they gave away, no, but they did. They gave away the tricks, which I thought was cute. They said,
They wanted to know their names, though, right?
They wanted to remain anonymous. They said, wake us up no later than 6 a.m. because it's too late after that. They said, teach us to set our own alarm, but we may need you to nudge us because it's going to take us a while to wake up on our own. This is what I thought was really meaningful. They talked about homework, and this is something as a counselor that I will be talking to you a lot about, and this is where it gets more serious. You know, they are at that age where they are growing up, and you are going to have to, you know, let them have more of that independence. They want it, they need it, and I know we all want them to be successful, we want them to grow, we want them to do well academically. But they said with the homework, they said, when we're doing our homework, they said, we want your help. We do want our mom and dad to help us. They said, but not all the time. Only when we ask for it. And they said, please respect when we say no. We don't want them to sit with us and do the homework with us. We do want some independence. But we need their help. We do want them involved. We need their help with organization, and we need their help with time management. I said, well, how can they do that if you want independence? They said the ed line, the agenda. They said, do not, and again, they said, please do not use our names. They said, do not let us do our homework in a place where you can't see us. You really should have us doing our homework in a room where you can see us. Take away the technology. When we're on the laptop, make sure there are parent portals, parental things. Don't let us have access to games. You know, don't let us go up to our rooms, because when you come up, we're going to minimize what we said we were doing. We're going to put the phones under the pillow. We're going to, you know, structure us. And if a rule is a rule, keep it a rule, because, you know, be consistent with us. But they said, we do want our parents. And then they said, when it comes to the social stuff and the problems, they're worried. Kids do worry about coming here. And what they're worried about is they're worried about the schoolwork, but more importantly, they're worried about fitting in and they're worried about friends. They're worried about losing friends and they're worried about making new friends. And they're worried about what if they're excluded and, and they said they want to be able to talk to my mom and dad. And they said, well, do you think you'd be able to talk to them? And they said, yeah, but I just don't want them to ask me a million questions. I don't want them to ask me a million questions right when I get in the car. I want them to find a time where it's natural. Like maybe like when we're in the car or, in my room, like at the end of the day, not where I'm getting, they didn't use the word peppered, but, what they were saying is, they want to be validated. If they come home and say, somebody made fun of, the sneakers I was wearing, not to say something like, oh, who cares what they think, it doesn't matter. To say that, well, I'm sorry that somebody said something like that to you. I'm sorry that you had a bad day. Sometimes simple things like that can make all the difference to our kids at this age. What else did they say? Don't overreact, find the right time.
Sorry, you must have applied these kids with candy or something.
No, I didn't. They were cute.
Gold, right?
No, there was something else that was really, I think that's it. Talk to your child who does it. Oh, the last thing I do want to tell you this because this is something that is important and the kids reminded me. The first thing that your kids are going to, the first thing where they're really going to be having to be independent is in the middle school. It's the first time they go home on a bus and they don't need to hand over a note to somebody to say, I'm going over to my friend's house. Your kids get to go on a bus and go wherever, they can go to Johnny's house, they can go to Mary Ann's house, they can go to a friend's house, and it's their responsibility to call you and text you and to get in touch with you. And sometimes they forget, because they're young adults, their children becoming young adults. So it's very important, they said, to remind your children that they have to be aware, to communicate with you if they are going to be going to a friend's house and to begin, to take initiative and to be responsible for these kinds of decisions that they're going to be making on their own as they become young adults. The other thing I'm going to introduce now.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. Since you brought up, their responsibility to text us or call us, what is the school policy regarding cell phone use, in class or in class?
Yeah.
Do you want to answer? Yeah.
Sure. So first of all, bring. That's the short answer. It's certainly not a requirement. However, kids have phones. Teachers ask kids to bring them to class to use them for classroom activities sometimes. If you don't believe your child is ready for a phone, or if you don't want to buy them a phone, that's fine. We have ample technology in school. If they can't provide their own, not a problem at all. As far as rules go, during the day, teachers may ask kids to use phones for an activity.
Well, I'm seeing a lot less of that this year than I did.
What's that?
The phones, the teachers using.
They're using more, because we have more Chromebooks, more iPads.
They're more of our own technology, so fewer teachers are having the kids, hey, use your.
Take out your phone now. Right. However, kids are allowed to have them during the day. They are not allowed to use them in the hallways, not allowed to use them, go to the bathroom and shoot next to their friends, things like that. They are allowed to use them appropriately in the cafeteria during lunch and after school. Certainly before school, they're allowed to have them out also. During the day, in hallways, that 4 minutes is relatively short amount of time. So getting from one part of the building to the other is not that difficult if you're focused on getting from one place to another. If you're stopping and texting every 3 seconds, kids are late to class, and we don't want that. So we discourage that in the hallways. They're absolutely allowed to listen to music or play a game or something in the cafeteria during lunch and after school.
So just the extension for that, is it a good idea to not allow or restrict schools in campus? Because
It's unrealistic. the fact is it's unrealistic. New York City tried that a number of years ago. I'm sure you read in the media. They had lockers and vans outside for kids for $2 to check their cell phone. It just didn't work. Whether we like it or not, this is as prevalent as wristwatches were when I went to school, when you went to school.
In fact, that is a wristwatch.
Yeah, it is, right? It is. So it's just unrealistic to say you may not have a cell phone on campus. And again, I think part of teaching kids to use technology and engage in sort of the global community responsibly, that's our duty to teach them that. And part of that is to guide them in the appropriate use of their personal technology. So it certainly fits within our curriculum, within the important learning that kids have to do. Yes?
So what are the consequences of using a cell phone in class? What happens if
Well, I think each teacher would deal with it differently a little bit. However, my guess is a teacher would give a child a warning, a teacher would give a child a second warning, perhaps a third warning, and then take it away. Our school policy is that if a cell phone is confiscated, we will give it back to you at the end of the day, the first time. If a cell phone is confiscated the second time and it comes to my office, parents have to come up and pick it up. And we have a good, a secured area where we could lock it up and make sure it doesn't get stolen. If it's on a Friday, you're away for the weekend, you can't come until Monday or Tuesday, that's fine, we'll hold on to it. So we definitely give kids lots of warnings. We make our expectations crystal clear, and there are consequences if they don't abide. Yes?
I know you said the teachers don't visit anymore, but what happens if the teacher says, take out your phone, and says, my daughter's not going to have it?
Right. It wouldn't be take out your phones. It would be you need some technology for the next activity. If you'd like to use your personal device, you may. If you'd like to use the Chromebooks, they're in that corner. If you'd like to use the iPads, they're over there. And the 5 desktops are available to you back there too. So there will always be choices. It will never be, 28 kids, take out your cell phones. Oh, the 29th you didn't have your cell phone, we'll do something for you. It won't be like that. Okay? Yes?
More technology in the classroom.
Yes.
Are the kids going to be transitioning at any point away from textbooks into just digital books?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know a lot of schools are trying.
I think so.
Yeah, I know that we do have digital resources, online resources that are companions to our textbooks, and perhaps they're used equally in class and at home. Yeah, no, and very few, I can't think of a teacher, perhaps in 8th grade in the Regents level classes, where bringing a textbook is an expectation for class. Certainly not in 6th grade. Suzanne could talk about that. They have class sets of books. You get it on the first day, take it home. That's your book to do homework with. And we have this class set. You're not bringing back the big fat social studies book. Absolutely not. Sort of along those lines, you should know that we do that because we don't allow kids to carry book bags in school. That's grounded in best practice and in research that it's bad for their physical development to carry around 30 or 40 or 50 pounds of books. You've seen it. You've seen the little kids walking like this because the book bag is just too heavy. So part of the great learning that they're going to do in the opening days and weeks of 6th grade is learning what to take period 1, what to take period 2, when is an appropriate time to go to my locker, how, I'm always late to 5th period because I'm going to my locker to drop stuff off. Well, maybe they need help in structuring that visit at another period and taking different things. So that's the work that Mrs. Schmidt and Ms. Aubrey and all of the 6th grade team will do in those opening weeks.
Hi everybody, I'm Suzanne Aubrey and I am an English social studies teacher. I've been here for 15 years. If you take a look at my slideshow, which I spent a lot of time doing, and my husband said, what are you, crazy? Those pictures. I went looking for a picture of myself in middle school. That's me with the Roseanne again. Anybody remember her? Is that that? My mother thought it was a really great idea to give me a Dorothy Hamill haircut, and turns out it was an afro. Those pictures go a long way and really make me laugh and make me think about my life in middle school and what life is like in middle school. I've been teaching middle school for 15 years. I love middle school. One of the things that I keep hearing all parents say, and what we keep saying to you is, I hit the microphone too. We keep saying to you is, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. So let me give you a day in the life of a typical or maybe atypical day for a middle school teacher. This happened today. Here's my anecdote for the day. I know you're tired, but it should wake you up. Student comes to me today and says, Mrs. Aubrey, I need a microwave. And I said, why do you need a microwave? Well, my brother packed my lunch. Okay, what do you got? I got a hamburger, and I need to heat it up. So I said, how come Mom didn't pack lunch? Well, Mom didn't pack lunch, but brother packed lunch, blah, blah, blah. Okay, give me the hamburger. I'm going to go in the teacher's lounge, and I'm going to heat up the hamburger for you. Now, I go into the teacher's lounge, and it's one of those Costco hamburgers that's like wrapped in cellophane. So I take it out, and the hamburger, the patty is totally frozen. So I stick that in the microwave, and turns out there's cheese on it. So the cheese is melting over the hamburger. Now the bun is rather kind of, really hard, so I stick it in the toaster. So somebody comes into the teacher's lounge and says, wow, that smells delicious. I said, I think so too, not my lunch. So as it starts melting and oozing, I realized I may have left it in a little long, but I took it out, and then I had to spread the cheese on the toasted bun, wrapped it in paper, and walked out. He was waiting in the hallway for me, gave him his hamburger, told him that tomorrow I'll bring a cold lunch, and watched him as he skipped down the hallway with his buddy off to the lunchroom. So when we say to you, don't worry, we've got it covered. We've got it covered.
Hey, Miss Aubrey, what time was that?
What time was that? That was right around lunchtime.
What time is lunchtime?
The end of fourth period, 10:23.
There you go. Hamburger time.
That's hamburger time. So, don't worry. And when I say don't worry, the first days of school, your kids come in. We go so slow. We take them through the building. We give them tours. If you want to do one thing over the summer where you can practice with them, get a combination lock. That's the hardest thing that they have to deal with in the beginning of school. Let them practice. A little to the right, a little to the left, a little to the right. Go get it at the dollar store. It'll be the best investment that you ever make. Because me trying to teach them, you got to go right, then you got to go one left, then one more around, then go right. First I start with what's right, what's left. Got that covered. So they come in the morning. I promise you, you are more nervous than them. All the time, all the time. Parents come in, so nervous, so nervous. I'm setting up my room before school starts. Parents come to me, sends their kids away. Says, he's really nervous. He's so nervous.
Miss Aubrey, how are they going to know where to go on the first days?
They're going to have a schedule, and they're going to get it from you, and it's going to be in the mail, and they're going to know what room to show up.
But once they get to the building, how do they know how to get down to that room?
Oh, well, we're all in the hallway. There's about 3 million of us, all out in the hallway, correct.
And we do have a program called Project AIM also, where high school 9th grade students who have just left middle school come in early the first week of school and literally take kids by the hand. As soon as they get off the bus, walk them into the building, walk them down the stairs, and either point them in the right direction or walk them to the room. So, and Miss Aubrey said there were like 300 of us out in the hall. That's not an exaggeration. Every teacher, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, teacher aides, clerical staff, everybody is in the hallway on that first day, making sure that your child knows where she's going and is going to get there on time and happily. So don't worry about that either.
So they come in, first period, they sit down. At a certain point, we introduce ourselves, they get their schedule. It's a day 1, day 2 schedule. They don't know day 2 yet because we don't want to overload them. They get day 1 schedule. The only thing they need to know is that there are 9 periods a day and where they're going second period. And they are escorted to second period. So they all know what their schedule is, and we have this really cute form that we filled out for them, and then eventually they hang it in the locker. They go to second period, and then we say to them, you're going to come back to us third period. And I'm going to be in the hall waiting for you. And you're all going to know which way it is because you're going to follow the crowd down to the sixth grade wing. So they come back down, and we take it slow. We take them on tours. We show them the nurse. We show them the offices. We show them where they can make a phone call. I show them where the microwave is, the toaster oven. We take it so slow with them. And so you really don't have to worry. We've got it down. And they acclimate so quickly. You would be so proud of them because that's one of the things I love about middle schoolers, because they acclimate. They're great. They're quick. They're fast. They get it. when I say that I love how excited they get, and when they learn something and they get it, you know, they absorb it all. And they really, once they start seeing their friends and they realize that, you know, like their teacher isn't missing any teeth and doesn't scream and, you know, doesn't have, you know, crazy long eyelashes and looks like a member of, you know, somebody from a horror film, you know, oh, she looks nice. Okay, I can get used to this place. So they really acclimate really quickly to it. So I teach English and social studies. So this is how our day looks really quickly, because I know you want to hear from some other people. So first period they come in, that's our interdisciplinary, sometimes it's a math period. We have flexible scheduling. So I can teach English, social studies, double block, 80 minutes, and make it an interdisciplinary period. So when you walk into my room, you won't know if I'm necessarily doing English or social studies, because it's really a combination of both. And same thing for math and science. So we integrate the subjects as much as we can. We flip them around. Today they were in chorus because we're going to the New York Philharmonic, and they had some interdisciplinary period with Mr. Verderbert, who is our chorus and band leader teacher. So they were doing things. We just came from Hofstra not too long ago. We went on a tour. We went to a theater group that we had short stories that we read in class, and then they went and they saw them performed by a regional theater company. So, and they were unbelievable at Hofstra. They were so good, I could not believe how great they were. The other schools were not as great. Our school was fantastic. I did have to speak to a couple of kids, but they were not Jericho kids. So I had to take care of that. But so that's what their day really looks like. And then the first day, we make sure they know what bus they are going on. They all have their bus number. We escort them out the door to the buses. There are people at the buses waiting for them. They come in the next day. We start the day over again, day 2 schedule. And they come in and they have big smiles on their face and they're already acclimated. The hardest thing is the early day. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I'm hoping one day to really master that early wake up. I'm hoping to get used to it one day. It's really hard, and it's hard for them. And it's hard for them because they need to go to sleep at 9:30. By the way, we have a new column or a new blog, like Confessions of a Middle School. I think that would be, yeah, all those columns, that'll be good. So that's really the hardest thing for them, is to really just get to sleep so that they are awake and have a good breakfast, and they are not, you know, today somebody was sucking down a candy cane, like, you know, they were like life support. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to lunch in like 10 minutes. I'm starving, Mrs. Aubrey, my stomach hurts. I said, what did you eat? They said, I had oatmeal and orange juice. I said, I think we need to make it 2 packets of oatmeal and another orange juice, because they are starving by the time 10:23 comes around. So big breakfast, early bedtime, blocks. LOCKS, not LOS. That's the takeaway. Yeah.
Students have a unique schedule. Are they moving as a group? You're in class A, from A go to the same class, same class.
They have a unique schedule. So some students are going to go to gym second period, or some may go to band second period. So
they move in big clumps, Suzanne. They're with Suzanne and her co-teacher, the other teacher in the team, for 5 periods. Then there's those 4 other ones. And so for those of them, they move in clumps. Yeah. They don't go like all over the place. You know, 7 of them will go to PE, 5 will go to chorus.
It's not like high school where each kid is.
No.
To an extent, but it's not like high school. No.
It's not as drastic as high school.
In those 5 academic periods where they're on the team, it's the same 23, 24, 25 kids. In ELA together, then social studies together, then they go in the wind at the middle of the day and come back at the end of the day in that same group of 20 plus kids.
Like science and math.
Yes.
How many transfers during the day, so to speak, classrooms are there?
Let me give you an actual hands-on, okay? So I see my homeroom, period 1. So period 1, they come to me, I have interdisciplinary with them. Period 3, 4, they go off to math and science as a group. Then eventually they come back to me, period 8, 9 for English and social studies. And so I start the day with my homeroom and I end the day with my homeroom. So I always say to them, I'm like your mom. I wake you up and I put you to bed. So, you know, if they they know to kind of come to their core teachers. What's nice is it's a really nice transition, as opposed to them going right from elementary school. They have this ability to have two main teachers that they're with most of the day. So they're really attached to us. If they need anything, they come to us. We are with them for extra help. We have clubs. So they get to know us. And we also have a lot of technology. So I'm getting, on my phone, I have Remind. So I send out reminders to them on cell phones, which is another great technology that we have. So I will set up my class and I'll send them reminders, like don't forget to bring your Drop Everything and Read book. Don't forget to bring your money. And now they're sending me texts back. So I'm Aubrey, I forgot this. And so I answer them, and so my phone's buzzing left, right, and sideways half the time because they have little things that they want to remember. So if I send out a remind, they can respond back to me. So they have a real connection with their teachers because we have all these things that we do with them. So the takeaway from tonight is, we got it.
Can I just ask you one question? So everybody in the same class will move together, they have the same schedule, exactly?
They only have the same schedule for period 1, 3, 4, 8, 9. They're going someplace, period 2, they could be going to gym, they could be going to a foreign language. Period 5, they all go to lunch. Period 6, 7, one could be in gym, one could be in reading, one could be here. Period 7, same thing. 8, 9, they're all back together.
It's 5 of the 9 periods there together, and then one of the other periods is lunch, so they're going to be together again. So it's really only three other classes that are not together.
And let me just say this. I know that parents are very worried that, you want your child with their friends. But I have been doing this a long time, and I've had a lot of parents who started out by saying, I was really upset. My child wasn't with their friend, or this friend, or that friend. And then at the end of the year, they said, I'm so glad they weren't, because I realized that she was able to concentrate, or he was able to concentrate because he didn't have all those distractions in the classroom. So it's not a bad thing, and we all come together from 3 different schools, and they make friends that, become lifelong friends. I see the high school kids, and I know that some of those kids met for the first time in my classroom, and it really warms my heart to know that when I see them, like, buddying down the hall. And it also warms my heart to know that they are so much taller. And I must be getting one. Yes?
You mentioned that you're one of the 4 teachers also in ELA social studies.
Yeah.
Now, do the rest of the 6th graders come to you for social studies and?
Yes, I will switch. So
you will be doing everybody.
No.
No,
There are 2-person teams. So this year we have 5 2-person teams. One of the 2 teachers does ELA social studies. One of the 2 does math science for approximately 50 kids. Team A. And then Team B, 2 different teachers. Team C, Team D. Same.
So across the board, there are 3
Yeah.
or 4 different social studies.
5 different ELA social studies teachers, 5 different math science teachers, and each ELA social studies teacher is paired with 1 math science teacher, and they share 50 kids.
I'll give you an example. My partner is Ms. Murphy. Ms. Murphy teaches math and science. So when my kids are with me, period 3 and 4, the other half of the team is with her. And when my other kids are with me, 8 and 9, those kids are with Ms. Murphy the other time. So we work as a group, and the nice part about having a team is that we get to know the kids really, really well. So we're always going back and forth with each other, and we'll talk, and we'll say, this so-and-so happened, and he's really not feeling great, and just keep an eye on him. Or I got an email from Mom, this happened, keep an eye. So we talk back and forth. Yeah.
So teacher was looking at the teacher coordinating so the kids won't have like a math test and a social test?
We do that all the time. We try to do that, and we're usually pretty good about it. Even when we try to do it, we talk to the kids. But before I schedule a test, I always say, tell me what's on your schedule, what's going on in Spanish, or what's going on here, what's going on there. And I find out, or I'll find out from the other teachers directly. And if there's something going on, then I won't schedule a test on the same day. The other thing, and I'll just say this before I go, they really shouldn't be spending any more maximum in all their subjects, maybe an hour on homework. If they're walking out of school and going home and spending like hours on homework, please let us know, because that's not what it's supposed to be. Social studies, 15 minutes of homework. English, 15 minutes of homework. Yes, I'm one of the teachers that gives homework on Friday. However, to make you feel better, all writing will be done in class. Book reports are done in class. Usually I get applause for that.
I have a question. When do we get the notification about their class number?
That'll come over the summer. You'll get an email with how to access that information. It's usually at the end of August, the week before school opens. Approximately the same time, different email, but around the same time, you'll get the homeroom assignment, report to room 112. All right?
Hi, I'm Elaine Margarita. I'm just most excited about seeing my slide come up here. Okay, that's it. So I've been here at Jericho for 14 years. I'm a curriculum associate for World Language and Family Consumer Science. I studied Spanish, French, and Italian, and learned some Chinese. I taught Spanish and French. I've been a supervisor for World Languages for 16 years, and 14 of those here at Jericho. You can see on my slide a little bit about myself and my family. My oldest daughter is 25, she's getting married this year. That's about the most important thing in my life right now. I'm so excited. And the top picture on the left is, anyone recognize what that is? It's from 1960, that's me in the front.
Wow.
1967. Anybody know? World's Fair. Yes, World's Fair. So, and the rest of the other pictures are all at Montauk. My brother's getting married in Montauk, so they're in love with Montauk. So, I'm here because I'm getting the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our World Language program. It's a little bit of a new experience for your children coming into 6th grade. First, I'd like you all to turn to each other and say, Ni hao. I'm going to turn to someone. Turn to someone. Say, Ni hao. Now, turn to someone and say, Hin hao. I don't hear everybody doing this. Now, turn to someone and say, Ça va? Ça va. Now, turn and say, Bien. Bien. Now, turn and say, ¿Cómo estáis? ¿Cómo estás? And now say, Bene. Bien. Now, turn and say, ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? I say, Bien. Bien. So, I'm done. Those are the languages that we offer at the middle school: Chinese, French, Italian, and Spanish. And that is one of the strategies that our teachers use. It's called Turn and Talk. And the emphasis is to engage students in talking to each other, using the language, learning the language in a very functional and fun way. So your children will love learning languages when they get here. They've already been learning languages. In the elementary school, they have the opportunity to learn in the Spanish grades 1 through 4. They also had the opportunity for enrichment in Chinese before school. And in the 5th grade, they have the opportunity, and are continuing with the opportunity to study some French and Italian. So they're building on those skills as they come into 6th grade, and they're going to select a language, and that's the most important thing that I need to tell you about. They're going to choose a language, and they need to respond to a questionnaire survey and send it back to Mr. Wiener sometime in February.
Yeah, February sounds about right.
Sometime in February, your child, _child, needs to make a decision about the language that he or she wants to continue to study: Chinese, French, Italian, Spanish. Not the language you want your child to study, the language that he or she wants to study. Because, and here's the most important thing, everybody needs to hear this: once your child chooses a language, he or she can't change. So it has to be a language that he or she really wants to stick with. And that means the child's going to study 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, that language. And I can assure you, whichever language they choose, they're going to absolutely love it. We have a lot of wonderful, exciting experiences for your children, not just learning and speaking and using the language, but every language teacher, this is an outstanding department, like Dr. Davis, they're out of control with these teachers. But things like making dumplings and going to a Chinese restaurant, going to Quebec when they're in 8th grade, cappuccino experiences when they're in Italian class. Boche. Playing games, Spanish having festivals. They do so much, the teachers do so much that the kids absolutely love this program. So they need to choose a language that they feel excited about studying. one of the reasons why they can't choose, not because we're trying to be mean, they're going to love it, there's no problem. And if you say, you know, I study Spanish, my child wants to study French, I won't be able to help him or her, don't worry about it. We've got it covered. We're going to help them, we're going to make sure they know everything they need to know. They will have no problem, even if you can't help them at home. There's no issue with any of that. Once they do start in 6th grade, they're going to build 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, and they take an assessment that's required by New York State. And that becomes 1 high school credit. So that's the reason why we can't have them change it. They need to stay in the sequence, and the State Ed Department also confirms that they need to stay in the sequence. That sequence then continues into 9th grade and 10th grade. They take another assessment that gives them graduation, meets their graduation requirements. So this is all a big plan. The wonderful thing is they have an opportunity to choose a language. And then another wonderful opportunity that they have is when they get to high school, they can add on other languages. Let's say they chose Italian, and they're excited because Italian is awesome, they love studying Italian, but they decide, you know, I really wish I could study French also, or I wish I could study Chinese also. When they get to high school, they can add on additional languages as soon as their schedule allows them. So they're not locked into only one language forever, they can add other languages when they get to high school. But you do need to know that they need to choose a language that they're excited about studying, they're going to stay with that 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Okay? On their assessments that are tied with that, and high school graduation that's tied with that, so that's why it's required that they stay with that language. A few other important things to note is that, well, one other piece of information that's up there now is about another opportunity that we're offering to our students here at Jericho Schools. Jericho Schools is currently in a partnership with Hunter College with a flagship program to support learning of Chinese. And flagship is offered to students here K through 12. It's a summer program, it's almost like a mini summer camp. The kids come to school here over the summer for 2 weeks, and they come from 9 to 3. And I believe the middle school is from July 27th to August 4th. And then they continue studying through the school year, before school, after school, or on Saturdays. There's a schedule that's planned out for them. So it's outside of the school day. It's an additional program that we're offering to our students here. All the information is on the website, on the Jericho website, and there's an application there if you're interested. The thing that you should know about this program, as well as any of the languages that we offer, if your child has native skills in any of these languages, then he or she should study a different language. Absolutely, you can't be part of the flagship if you have skills in Chinese. But for any language in our program, in our 6th grade program, whether your child wants to study Chinese, French, Italian, Spanish, if he or she has native, strong skills in those languages, then he or she is going to be bored in those classes. So it would be smart to make a decision to study another language, and let's say the child speaks Italian fluently. Okay, I'm going to study Spanish. And when he or she gets to the high school, that child can add on Italian if she wants to continue learning and studying the language that he or she has in the background. So there's no language that's bad. They're all wonderful. They're all great opportunities. Be mindful that if your child has native-like skills or a lot of skill in the language, it's probably not a good idea because it's hard to sit in the language and learn, let's say, hi, my name is, 1, 2, 3, square, circle, if you're already fluent with the language. It's hard and it's not really fair to do that to the kids. So you might think about that if your child has native skills in any of those 4 languages before choosing one. Same thing with this additional summer program at the school flagship program. There's no charge for this, but the same thing with this program. If your child is interested in studying Chinese through this additional program, it doesn't work for a child who already has skills in Chinese. So our program is really a wonderful opportunity for your children. As you saw in the schedule lesson, 6th graders study language every other day. They do have homework. They love coming to language class, but they do have some homework. It will be a short amount, a fun amount of work that they're able to do. We're using a lot of technology in the class as well. So we're really, really excited about the program, and I can't wait to meet your children as well. If you have any questions, you can call me at extension 3428. Thank you for being here tonight, and welcome. Now let me introduce Dr. Joseph Sapienza, Technical Associate for Special Education Teacher Personnel Services.
Good evening, everybody. Excuse me. I'm Joe Sapienza, Curriculum Associate for PPS, Personnel Services, or Special Education. in the middle and high school. And what I thought would be an appropriate kind of discussion to lead tonight is to kind of answer three of the questions that are most asked by parents going into the middle school. The first one has to do with transition. How do we handle the transition of our students with special needs coming from the elementary to the middle school? And the answer, which is the answer to a lot of questions in special education, is meetings. Lots and lots of meetings. But I think these are the most important meetings, and these meetings have already started. So as Rena had mentioned, we're already learning about the students with special needs coming up from the elementary schools, because we are already in the elementary schools meeting with the teachers and the administrators and Ms. Kim Conger, who's my counterpart in the elementary schools, about your children and what their needs are. Moving forward from that, we'll have formal articulation meetings where we're joined by Dr. Gately, Mr. Wiener, folks like Ms. Schmidt, and other staff in the middle school, as well as your students' elementary school teacher, and some of the staff there to really go through on an individual basis the needs of your student and talk a little bit about programs and considerations for next year. The culminating meeting is your annual review, which you'll probably have in the next few months, if not in the spring. And the nice part about that is one of the representatives from the PPS department in the middle school will be at your meeting, either myself or Ms. Cheryl Viviano, who is the special education facilitator in the middle school. She apologizes that she couldn't make tonight's meeting. But either one of us will be at your annual review. Just to give you another sort of overview of the programs in the middle school for our students with special needs, and helping the committee with the decision-making process as to what's the best placement for your son or daughter coming into 6th grade. The second question is, what's different? How do the programs differ between elementary school and middle school for our students with special needs? And by design, they're not terribly different. The continuum is very similar, where we do have resource room and learning center, which is known as. We have consultant teaching, which is a push-in model. There is co-teaching in the middle school. We also have small classes, which is a 15-to-1, 15 students to 1 special ed content dual certified teacher. In 6th grade, we have that in the math and ELA classes. We also have a self-contained program in the middle school, similar to that of the elementary, as well as our skills and development program in the high school. So the main message, and I don't want to get too specific, is that programs are very similar. Sometimes the execution is a little bit different. And the biggest one to realize as a parent in the middle school is our learning center. So we have a central hub in the middle school, and we know it's effective because every day we have students that don't belong in the learning center trying to get into the learning center. And that's because the support is comprehensive. Ms. Viviano, our special ed facilitator, her office is located in the middle school learning center, which is on the 2nd floor of the middle school. And it is my #1 suggestion for our students with special needs coming into 6th grade to stop by there within the first day, even to come over this summer if you're around or in the building, just to say hi and introduce yourself, your family, so we can get to know you and you can get to know us and the players in support department here. The final question is, how does my student succeed in the middle school? It's different, and there are special considerations to be made. How do we succeed? The two biggest pieces of advice that I have for you, and I share this with high school parents as well as middle school parents when I taught in elementary school, which shared this with elementary parents. The first one and most important one is advocacy. So as parents of 5th grade students with special needs, 5th grade is the first year that the PPS department invites students to their annual review meeting. That decision is solely up to you, whether you would like your son or daughter to attend the meeting. But it's a great opportunity for them to learn not only about the process, but to begin sharing their views of what their strengths are, what things are challenging. And I've learned in my few years in the position, but my tenure here in Jericho in the special ed department is that aside from their parents who know their children better than anyone else, the students really give us tremendous insight as to what works for them. And so many times we kind of miss it for a reason until they say, well, this would really work for us. And the benefit of the middle school is we're very creative bunch of folks, so we'll make it happen. The final piece is, as I mentioned, relationships. There are plenty of support people in the middle school, whether in the PPS department or not, and I just urge you to encourage your children coming in to just meet as many people as they can. There are a ton of dedicated staff there, as you can see by the panel here tonight. And the more they know, it's just more people to go to, more people to kind of lean on those situations. So if you have any questions, my office is located in the high school, but I will certainly see, I'm sure many of you at your meeting. Please don't hesitate to call me. I'm at extension 32.
I want to thank everyone on our panel. I know what you're thinking right now, boy, but people have to get up early in the morning. They sure don't mind talking. And this is my 10th year as principal, and I kind of so used to it until Carrie said it. And I'm thinking, oh, we do get up really early in the morning. So, are there any tricks? I think the kids have, oh, that 9:30 thing. Did you ask them to talk to my own kids at home about that 9:30 thing? From Daddy's going to start going to bed at 9:30. We're so happy that you joined us this evening. Like I said at the beginning, I know we lost about 12 people. We're going to apply for private school now. They just start time and can change their languages. I don't know. Lunch after 10:30. Lunch after 10:30. If you were here, we serve mimosas and Bloody Marys or something. I want to thank everyone for coming. I really do hope you'll go home to your children and tell them we heard such great things. We'll have lots of ways to orientate your children too. The guidance counselors will go over and talk to them. I'll go over and meet with them. They'll come here for a tour. They'll get to go visit 6th grade classes and have the 6th graders talk about their experiences. They'll actually be much more acclimated than you will because they'll have been there back and forth. So as Joe said, I'll close on that note. We love your kids and haven't even met them yet. And we're so eager to meet them. And thanks very much for joining us. Use the link, use the link to post your questions, and we'll be around for any questions at the end. Thanks very much for the
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
The live stream is
I'll put it out there tomorrow.
Oh,
I'll post it on the website tomorrow.
What do I need to tell her? Where should she look on?
On the middle school website. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.